Today's topic is nutritional anemia, and we will be discussing about iron deficiency anemia and megaloblastic anemia. Main cause of nutritional anemia is iron deficiency anemia, then followed by vitamin B12 deficiency and folic acid deficiency anemia. Sometimes deficiency of vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, pyridoxine, vitamin C, vitamin E, and other trace elements can also be found. So now we'll talk about iron deficiency anemia. Dietary iron is of two types, heme iron and non-heme iron. Heme iron is present in hemoglobin containing animal food like meat, liver and spleen. Non-heme iron is obtained from vegetables, cereals and beans. Some information regarding iron absorption in our body. Heme iron absorption is not affected by ingestion of any other food items. It has a constant absorption rate of 20 to 30%, which is little affected by iron balance of the subject. So if the subject has got adequate iron, then also heme absorption rate will be 20 to 30%. And if the subject has got iron deficiency anemia, then also the absorption rate will be 20 to 30%. That is not affected by the subject having iron deficiency anemia or not. The heme molecule is absorbed intact and the iron is released in mucosal cells. The absorption of non-heme iron varies from 2 to 100% because it is affected by first, iron status of the body, second, solubility of iron salts, third, integrity of gut mucosa, and fourth, presence of absorption inhibitors or facilitators. Heme iron bioavailability is high, that is 20 to 30%, and non-heme iron bioavailability is low, that is 2 to 5%. So non-heme iron absorption depends on some factors. They are called absorption inhibitors or absorption promoters. So firstly, we'll discuss about inhibitors of iron absorption. Most importantly are foods with polyphenol compounds. They are like cereals like oats, vegetable like spinach and spices, beverages like tea, coffee, cocoa and wine. A single cup of tea reduces iron absorption for approximately 11%. Then there are food containing phytic acid like bean, wheat, rice, maize, barley, soya beans, black beans and peas, which are iron inhibitors. Next is cow's milk. It has high calcium and casein content, which acts as iron absorption inhibitors. So, how does it help? How does it work? Iron inhibition, absorption inhibitors, how do they work? The dietary phenols and phytic acid compounds, they bind with iron, decreasing the free iron in the gut and forming complexes that are not absorbed by the body. So cereals have got high phytates level. So milling of cereal is done, which removes bran, and it reduces phytic acid content by 50%. So phytates are decreased, thus iron absorption will be increased. Next is iron promoters, iron absorption promoters. First is food containing ascorbic acid like citrus fruit, broccoli, dark green leafy vegetables. Ascorbic acid reduces iron from ferric to ferrous form, which increases its absorption. Next is food containing muscle proteins. They enhance iron absorption due to the effect of cysteine containing peptide, which is released from partially digested meat. So this helps in reducing ferric to ferrous salts and form soluble iron complexes. Next are some food which inhibit absorption of iron, although they are rich in ascorbic acid because of their phenol content, are strawberry, banana and melon. Food fermentation aids iron absorption by reducing the phytate content in the diet. Causes of iron deficiency anemia. First is inadequate intake of iron. Next, reduced bioavailability of dietary iron. Next, decreased absorption of iron. Next, increased need of the iron like in pregnancy, lactation, in infants, in children and adolescents. Next is menstrual loss. Next is chronic blood loss due to worm infestations and other causes. Lastly is Pathological causes like chronic inflammatory states, which are chronic renal failure, chronic hepatic failure, obesity. Blood losses like inflammatory bowel disease, some blood donation, excessive blood sampling in infants, excessive surgical blood loss without any replacement, excessive menstrual loss. Next are some medications like aspirin, NSAIDs, antacids, proton pump inhibitors, H2 antagonists. Some GI conditions like gastric ulcers, duodenal ulcers, carcinomas, esophagitis, erosive gastritis, celiac disease, peptic ulcers, H. pylori gastritis, Crohn's disease, and gastrectomy. Risk factors in infancy are maternal iron deficiency, breastfeeding beyond 6 months of age without complementary food, and even if complementary food is given, they are low in iron or have poor bioavailability. The adverse effects of iron deficiency even before development of anemia are impairment in mental and motor development, poor concentration, attention and distractibility, decreased physical performance and endurance which leads to poor motor skill and productivity, decreased physical activity which affects learning due to limited exploratory activities, and cumulative deficits in school performance results in dropout. How do we approach a child having iron deficiency anemia? First, we take a detailed history, physical examination, some laboratory tests are done, and finally management is given. In history, first age of onset, it is between 6 months to 36 months of age. Both sexes are equally affected in childhood, and after adolescence, females are more affected than males. Proper dietary history has to be taken because that only tells us about nutritional anemia. So there will be factors like lack of breastfeeding, excess of animal milk intake, especially cow's milk, inadequate weaning of food or improper weaning of food. Predominantly vegetarian diet also leads to iron deficiency anemia. Exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months prevents iron deficiency anemia. History of pica is present, craving for mud, geophagia, chalk, ice, phagophagia, laundry starch, cardboard. History of breath holding spells are present. Infections are there. You have to rule out worm infestations like hookworm, roundworm or giardia. Worm infestations causes occult blood in stool, which also leads to anemia. Some symptoms have to be noted like irritability, fatigue, shortness of breath, lassitude, weakness, dyspnea on exertion. If HB fall is gradual, then the onset of symptoms is insidious and symptoms may not be noticed till HB falls to 4 to 5 gram%. Physical examination, we can see pallor, puffiness of face, pedal edema, hemic murmur. In tongue, we can see pallor. It can be bald and shiny with loss of papillae. Angular stomatitis is present. In nails, we can see again pallor, platinichia and koilonychia. Plummer-Vinson syndrome is there present, which is triad of dysphagia due to esophageal webs, koilonychia and rarely splenomegaly. This picture shows signs of pallor, which is present in lower palpebral conjunctiva, lips and nail beds. This picture shows tongue which is bald, shiny and there is loss of papillae. This is also seen in iron deficiency anemia. This picture shows angular stomatitis and cheilitis which is present in the angle of the mouth. This is the picture of koilonychia, that is spoon-shaped nails. Talk about laboratory diagnosis of iron deficiency anemia. First and foremost, get hemoglobin level done, which will prove anemia is present. Next to peripheral blood smear, which shows microcytic hyperchromic blood picture along with anisocytosis and poikilocytosis. There's increase in RDW levels, which is more than 14.5%. There's decrease in MCV levels, which is less than 80 femtoliter. MCH level also decreases, less than 27 picogram. MCHC level also decreases, which is less than 33%. This blood picture shows microcytic hypochromic anemia. Serum ferritin level is decreased less than 12 nanogram per milliliter. Serum iron level is also decreased less than 35 microgram per deciliter. There's increase in TIBC levels, which is more than 470 microgram per deciliter. Transferrin saturation in infants is less than 12% and in children it will be less than 14%. Serum transferrin receptors will be more than 9 milligram per liter, and bone marrow will show reduction in stainable iron. So basically we have to understand that laboratory investigation will show microcytic hyperchromic anemia, increase RDW, decrease MCV, MCHC, decrease in number of RBCs, decrease in serum iron, decrease in transferrin level, and increase in TIBC level, with bone marrow showing reduction in stainable iron. How do we manage iron deficiency anemia? If hemoglobin level is less than 5 gram per deciliter, there's risk of cardiac failure and cardiac arrest, so hospitalization is desirable, and blood transfusion is given at the rate of 2 to 3 ml per kg of packed red cell transfusion. Generally, red blood cells are transfused till hemoglobin level reaches 8 gram per deciliter, and after each transfusion there's rise of hemoglobin level of 2 gram per deciliter. For treatment of oral iron, dosage is 3 to 6 milligram per kg per day of elemental iron. Iron salts available in market are ferrous sulfate, gluconate and fumarate, and they're also pretty cost effective. Dosage is 3 to 6 milligram per kg of elemental iron. It can be given in 1 to 2 divided doses, preferably given on an empty stomach or in between meals. And if the child is unable to tolerate iron, then it can be given in full stomach too. Duration is 3 months after hemoglobin level is normalized. Sometimes daily or sometimes twice a week therapy can be given. Depends on the tolerance level of the child. Side effects of oral iron therapy is nausea, vomiting, pain in abdomen, diarrhea, constipation, discoloration of stool, it becomes dark in color, staining of tongue and teeth, it becomes yellowish in color. True intolerance to oral iron therapy is rare. How does the body respond to iron therapy? Within 12 to 24 hours, there's replacement of enzymes. Subjective improvement is present and decrease in irritability is seen. There's increased appetite also found within 12 to 24 hours. In 24 to 48 hours, there is erythroid hyperplasia present. In 48 to 72 hours, reticulocytosis is seen. In 4 to 20 days, there is increase in hemoglobin level, and in 1 to 3 months, iron stores are replenished. So generally oral iron therapy is given for 1 to 3 months after the hemoglobin levels have become normalized. How do we determine the non-responders to iron therapy? So we have to investigate again after 2 weeks of therapy, and if there is no improvement in blood picture, in hemoglobin level, in iron levels, in transferrin level, then we come to a diagnosis conclusion that they are non-responders to iron therapy, and in such cases other possibilities of anemia has to be taken into account, like megaloblastic anemia, thalassemia, red cell aplasia, any wrong formulation or dosage of iron given, poor compliance of the patient, or basic cause not treated, especially bleeding in patients. Next we come to the topic of megaloblastic anemia. Megaloblastic anemia mostly caused by nutritional deficiency of vitamin B12 or folic acid. Clinically and hematologically, deficiency of vitamin B12 and folate are indistinguishable. It generally affects infancy and young children. In infancy and young children, vitamin B12 deficiency is more common, and most cases occur in vegetarian or vegan families. Folic acid deficiency is mainly nutritional due to presence of food fats, goat milk, which is poor source of folate, malabsorption, and some drugs like phenytoin, phenobarb, methotrexate. Vitamin B12 deficiency is mainly due to dietary food fats, pure vegan diet, pure vegetarian diet, worm infestations. Breast milk is a poor source of vitamin B12. There are some rare causes like congenital enzyme deficiency. Clinical features of megaloblastic anemia. You'll see a malnourished child. It will have anemia, anorexia, irritability, EC fatigability. There will be history of prolonged exclusive breastfeeding. Mild hepatosplenomegaly can be present. Bleeding manifestations are present in 20 to 30% of cases. Uh, megaloblastic anemia mimics aplastic anemia or acute leukemia because all the cell lines are affected. So there will be resulted anemia, thrombocytopenia, and leukopenia. If there's presence of hepatosplenomegaly and leukopenia, mostly acute leukemia can be taken into consideration. So it mimics aplastic anemia and acute leukemia. Tremors are present. There is hyperpigmentation of knuckle and terminal phalange. This is the very specific diagnostic sign of vitamin B12 deficiency anemia. There are some neurological symptoms present like loss of position and vibratory sensation. Later, the children can have memory loss, confusion, neuropsychiatric symptoms may also occur. In this picture, you can see hyperpigmentation of knuckles and terminal phalanges in a child and an infant. So, how do we diagnose megaloblastic anemia? Firstly, hemoglobin level will be low, MCV will be increased, MCH will be normal or decreased, MCHC will be normal or increased. There can be presence of leukopenia, thrombocytopenia. Pancytopenia is present in 30 to 70% of cases. Peripheral blood smear will show macroovalocytosis of RBCs, multilobe that is more than 5 neutrophils, high RDW, polychromasia, basophilic stippling, Howell-Jolly bodies. Bone marrow will show megaloblasts. Serum B12 level will be less than 150 picogram per milliliter. Serum folic acid level will be less than 3 nanogram per milliliter. Erythrocyte folate level will be less than 150 nanogram per milliliter. Here is the blood picture which can be seen under microscope. You can see macroovalocytes, hypersegmented neutrophils and teardrop cells. In the next picture, you can see how normal blood cells look like and how megaloblastic anemic cells look like. RBC size are increased. There's macrocytic hyperplasia. Also, WBC size are increased. There's hypersegmented neutrophils, which is found in megaloblastic anemia. This picture, you can see a normal macrocytic hyperchromic blood picture and a bone marrow picture. The above slide shows ovalocytes, macrocytes, hypersegmented neutrophils. This is the blood picture. The below side shows bone marrow picture, which shows red cell dysplasia, hypercellular marrow. There are megaloblasts present, which is diagnostic of megaloblastic anemia. There's increased ratio of early erythroblasts also seen in the bone marrow picture. We treat megaloblastic anemia. If vitamin B12 deficiency anemia is present, then vitamin B12 is given intramuscularly 100 to 200 microgram bi-weekly or 1000 microgram weekly for 4 to 8 weeks till hematocrit level is normal, and then monthly for life. If neurological complication is present, then give 1000 microgram IM per day for 2 weeks, then every 2 weeks for next 6 months, and then monthly for life. Oral dose of 100 microgram per day can be given. If there is folic acid deficiency, the dose is 1 to 5 milligram per day for 3 to 5 weeks. Comes to treatment, bone marrow will totally revert in 24 hours. Patient feels better in days. Retic count response will peak in 5 to 7 days. Hemoglobin start rising in 1 to 2 weeks. Hemoglobin normalizes by 3 months, and peripheral smear becomes normal after 1 to 2 months. How do we prevent nutritional anemia? Firstly, by dietary modification. We have to promote breastfeeding, increase in dietary intake, enhancing bioavailability of iron. Next is supplementation with medicinal iron can be done. Food fortification can be done. There has to be a control of infection, that is parasitic, bacterial or viral infection. Promote consumption of iron-rich food. Encourage consumption of dark green leafy vegetable, fruits, cereals, sprouted pulses, jaggery or gur. If feasible, give animal diet. Green leafy vegetables should be added in weaning food for infants. Reduce consumption of tea. Antenatal clinic and immunization sessions to be utilized for promotion of nutritional anemia. ICMR consultative group has recommended addition of vitamin B12 1 milligram daily to iron and folic acid tablet or syrup, especially for vegetarian groups. Classification of foods. Food item like wheat flour, other cereals, sugar, curry powder, noodles can be fortified. In many countries, food fortification has been found to be effective in reducing prevalence of anemia. In India, double fortified salt, that is salt fortified with iodine and iron, has been compatible with cooking. Recommendations for prevention of nutritional anemia. First is exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months of age, promotion of iron and vitamin C rich food like green leafy vegetables and citrus fruits, discourage intake of tea, coffee with meal, give iron folate plus vitamin B12 supplementation with counseling. Thank you.